I'm Claudia Catania, and you're listening to Playing on Air. You are about to hear Crisis Planning by Peter Sinn Nachtrieb. His works include Boom and the award-winning Hunter-Gatherers, staged off-Broadway and regionally at Woolly Mammoth, Seattle Rep, Actors Theatre of Louisville, San Diego Rep, ACT, and many more. Crisis Planning is directed by Jason Eagan, the founding artistic director of the theater company Ars Nova, which has developed and premiered memorable productions like Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, the most Tony Award-nominated show of the 2017 Broadway season. Crisis Planning stars April Matthis and Andrew Garman. Andrew Garman has starred on Broadway, off-Broadway, in regional theaters, including Lincoln Center and the Mark Taper Forum. For his role in The Christians, he won both the Drama Desk and Lortel Award. On screen, his recent films include The Holdovers and Dead Ringer. He's a member of the New York-based theater company Partial Comfort Productions. This is April Matthis' 7th recording for Playing on Air. She was featured on Broadway in Mary Jane and The Piano Lesson. Off-Broadway, she starred in The Roundabout's Tony Stone and Primary Trust. She's a 2-time Obie Award winner and a company member of the off-Broadway theater Elevator Repair Service. And now, here's Crisis Planning by Peter Sinn Nachtrieb.
Frank and Janet, a middle-aged couple, are sitting in deck chairs on their porch under an umbrella. They're both reading intellectual magazines. They're both drinking Pim's cups. They're both barefoot.
Frank?
No.
We need to talk about it, Frank.
No.
Ignoring it will not make it go away. It's happening soon.
It's in 2 months.
And we have to make an announcement.
It's in 2 months.
That's how long people need to emotionally prepare themselves these days. And if you want them to be there for you...
I don't want people to be there for me.
You don't want people to be there for you?
Why do people have to be there for me?
It's a birthday party.
I don't want a birthday party.
We have to have a birthday party.
We do not have to have a birthday party. There is no law that says we have to have a birthday party. Why do we have to have a birthday party?
People want to celebrate you.
Who?
People.
Who?
The people we come into regular contact with.
They want to celebrate me?
Of course they do.
Why?
They love you.
Why?
I'm not sure how you want me to answer that question.
Do you love me?
That's not the point.
It's a little bit the point.
The point, Frank, is that this is a major life moment.
Allegedly.
And that life moment deserves to be commemorated by a gathering of people, perhaps in a private room of a restaurant that has been decorated.
Oh, God.
And there will be food,
I hate food.
And drinks.
And
the gathering will culminate in the singing of a song, copywritten by nuns, sung in various keys.
Unbearable.
While at the same time, we slowly move a dessert that is on fire toward your face.
Because it's my birthday.
A milestone birthday.
It's not really a milestone.
I think everyone would agree that it's a milestone.
Only because as a culture we're obsessed with the power of 10.
And here comes the pontification.
I'm just saying that 10 years as a milestone is arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
What's so great about 10?
Counting, decimals, a perfect gymnastics routine.
But they've changed the gymnastics point system because 10s are corrupt and meaningless.
Okay.
Nature doesn't care about 10.
2 fingers.
Flower
toes.
petals.
Sure.
Spirals, spiders, eggs.
Eggs.
I don't see 10 in any physics equation.
Why would you know that?
The cells in our body replace every 7 years.
I think that's just a meme.
There is absolutely nothing natural or significant about an age achieving another 10 years.
Except for the number. The new number in front of the 0. Higher than any number that's been there before. The number is significant. Here, I've made it easy for you.
What's with the large, bulky binder?
Birthday party theme options.
No, I just said
I know your long speech, but I had a really great brainstorming session during yoga.
I'm not going to like them.
That's actually one of the themes. Frank is not gonna like this. We pack your birthday party with all of the things you don't like. pickleball, cilantro, your friends from college. And then, for gifts, we can send out a registry with all the things you hate.
I do not like this birthday party theme.
I know, so meta, right? Okay, what about some sort of I'm getting older / I have lots of new ailments / my body is falling apart theme?
Ouch.
Exactly. We could have a field day with events inspired by your chronic conditions. Bad back limbo, plantar fasciitis sack race, a relay with the limp baton.
What kind of yoga class do you take?
And after, we could serve foods that look like your various skin conditions. Brie crust, seaweed, chicharrones.
Any less physically insulting themes?
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Older, not wiser. Almost in memoriam. Or, this is more conceptual. We could have your party near the top of a hill, but not at the top. And we set everything up so the whole event is focused downwards.
They're all so sad.
Well, I did have a best is yet to come theme,
Oh.
but then I kind of got stuck. Oh, you're crying, Frank.
No, I'm not.
But,
Don't say anything.
okay, but I can see.
I know I'm crying. Why are you telling me that I'm crying?
Because I'm surprised, Frank. You know I like to describe things out loud that people might not be able to see when I'm surprised. You're crying a lot.
Because you're right, Janet.
You're crying because I'm right?
This birthday really is a milestone. I am desperately trying to rationalize away its importance, but the more I try to make it small, the more gargantuan it gets. The fact that I'm turning bleep, my God, am I really? How did I even? Doesn't even make sense. I need something bigger.
Like a trip?
Bigger.
A big trip.
Something radical and powerful and meaningful that will fundamentally transform the rest of my life.
Ayahuasca.
No.
Volunteering? We could dig latrines.
No.
Donate a part of your body that you still need?
No.
Frank, you're going to have to give me something to work with.
I want to have a crisis.
Oh, like
I want to have a midlife crisis.
a midlife crisis.
Yeah, some sort of an intense, disruptive, cathartic event.
For your birthday.
Yeah,
Midlife.
yeah.
That's optimistic of you.
Don't get caught in semantics.
Age is not semantic.
Well, it's what I want.
And what kind of mid-in-quotes life crisis do you want to have?
I don't know.
You just want one.
Yeah.
Any kind of one.
Well, no, not a cliche one.
So no affair?
No.
We can discuss it if you want.
No.
It just can't be with anyone in my family, especially my brother.
I am not going to have a midlife crisis affair with your brother.
Good, because it'll only hurt you.
No affair. And no sudden purchase of a sports car, or abrupt change in political party, or some attempt to discover pleasure from a new orifice.
What new orifices do you have?
The point is that my crisis can't be a cliche. And certainly not one that's some desperate, pathetic attempt at reclaiming my youth. What?
Did you ever claim your youth, Frank?
I was young.
But you were never very youthful. With those vintage tweed jackets, early onset beard, and outspoken opinions about the importance of naps.
Can we get back to my crisis planning, please?
Fine. Nothing cliche, nothing youthy.
And nothing regretty about my life.
You sure?
I don't have any regrets.
Okay.
What?
I just said okay.
With a tone.
Okay.
Other than the children, I've loved my choices.
Our poor children.
I'm just glad they've stopped calling.
You could just have a heart attack. I hear they're quite effective at disrupting lives.
But where's the agency in that? Very ex machina.
It's your heart.
But a health scare? That doesn't feel very me. I believe it was Joseph Campbell who wrote that the hero's journey begins.
Oh!
Yes, Janet?
I've got it.
You do?
I know exactly what your crisis is.
Tell me.
This.
I don't understand.
This.
Saying it twice doesn't help with understanding.
This desperate desire you have for some perfectly Frankian crisis that is upheavaling and life-altering and crazy, when you know, deep down, in your unattacked heart, that you, Frank, our shared last name, might not have a midlife crisis at all.
So, you're suggesting that my midlife crisis is that I'm not going to have a midlife crisis?
That feels very you.
But I don't want a crisis about not having a crisis.
I think it's the crisis you're gonna have.
That's a terrible crisis.
Frank, you might not get to decide the form of your midlife crisis.
Why not?
Because that's not usually how it works. It's certainly not how it happened with mine.
You had a midlife
Oh,
crisis?
for bleep's sake.
Wait, when? How? You...
Years ago. At the appropriate time, based on the current mortality rates in America, to have one.
What happened years ago?
When I suddenly stopped sleeping through the night, and suddenly started screaming at random times of the day, and then suddenly quit my job, and suddenly cut my hair, and suddenly had all those new friends that I wouldn't let you meet, and suddenly took that clothing optional cruise, and suddenly was arrested in Curacao for public indecency.
You barely talked about that cruise.
No, I mostly talked to my therapist that I suddenly started going to.
When did you go to a therapist?
Right after I was released from custody, and right before I suddenly started doing the podcast.
Which podcast?
My podcast! My highly rated, award-winning, endorsed by Oprah and Brene Brown podcast about aging ungracefully and how unpredictable and chaotic and disorienting getting older can be, and about how while you do learn things as you get older, you still really know nothing.
That was a midlife crisis?
Yeah, Frank. That was my mother bleeping midlife crisis. Sorry for censored swearing.
I had no idea.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry, Janet. I'm sorry I missed all that.
It wasn't really about you.
But that was a great midlife crisis.
I don't know if I would say great.
Like, really great. You tried new things, got banned from an island, ended up a better person, and found new success in the lucrative self-empowerment field. It's everything I want in a crisis.
Well, I worked really hard on it, so thank you.
I wish I had your crisis.
It's not a competition.
I will never have a crisis as good as that.
No, you won't, Frank. You just won't. So, maybe it's time to move on.
But I need one. I need one. I need one. I need one.
Are you okay? Oh,
What?
you just right there. You felt that, didn't you?
What? Wait. Just then when I... Oh, maybe? No.
Yes.
You think? Wait.
Uneven breathing, sweat around the temples, prolonged vowel noises.
You think my midlife crisis is happening right now?
You're in phase 1.
But wait, no, wait. This can't be. I don't
For
think
once in your life, stop thinking, Frank. Let go and let it happen.
But now it's so quiet.
Who said it had to be loud?
No, sorry. I'm not really feeling any... Wait a second.
Yeah?
Felt something.
Aha!
Shoot, probably just a mosquito. Oh, nope. Nope, that was definitely not a mosquito.
But it's itchy, isn't it?
It is itchy and hot and really different. Like my body doesn't know how to process this new feeling and is trapped between delight and pain. It's almost like...
Like you've just discovered pleasure from a new orifice?
Yes.
Probe the itch, Frank.
Huh?
Scratch.
You're not supposed to scratch itches.
This isn't a mosquito bite. You're going to want to scratch.
I don't even know how or where I'm supposed to. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, I am scratching it. I don't know exactly how I'm doing it, but I am scratching.
Don't stop, Frank. Keep scratching. Scratch that psychic blister till it...
Okay, wow, yes, it is happening. Yup, here we go. Crisis is definitely happening. And holy mother of the forest, it's happening really fast.
You're in the end game now.
Janet, I'm scared. It's happening too fast.
Don't fight it, Frank. Welcome it with your whole body. Open your chakras and let her...
Oh!
Lift off.
Oh, there it is.
We have liftoff.
There it is. Good Lord, that is a crisis.
Isn't it glorious?
And painful and pleasurable at the same time, and it's only the beginning. Ow.
Frank, you just slapped yourself.
Ow!
Frank, you just slapped yourself again.
Did I surprise you?
Frank, you haven't surprised me like this in years.
Ow! 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 Oh.
Oh, Frank, you're crying again. I think you slapped yourself too hard and now you're crying.
No, I'm crying because once again you are right, Janet. You are absolutely right.
Can you be more specific?
This moment in time, this milestoneth time that this sad, decrepit heap of arbitrary assembled organic matter has hurtled around the sun, it's a miracle. It is an act of resistance against entropy and decay. And yes, it may be a teeny tiny feat against the backdrop of the universe, but it is a wonder to be alive. And God, that really does demand a celebration.
You mean?
Yes, Janet, Frank needs a birthday party.
Yes! Yes! Oh, goody! Yes!
Frank needs you to throw him a birthday party right now.
You just ripped all your clothes off!
Surprise! Janet.
Yes, Frank. I too have just ripped all of my own clothes off.
And described it out loud.
Because I have surprised myself.
Oh, because...
That's right, Frank. No time to waste. We're having a
surprise party!
Happy birthday, Frank! Happy bleeping birthday! Wow.
You just heard Crisis Planning by Sinn Nachtrieb, directed by Jason Eagan. It features April Matthis as Janet and Andrew Garman as Frank.
Hi, my name is April Matthis, and I play Janet.
I'm Sinn Nachtrieb, and I'm the playwright.
I'm Jason Eagan. I'm the director.
I'm Andrew Garman. I played Frank.
Welcome. Crisis Planning came to be as a result of Playing on Air's James Stevenson Commission for Comedic short play, which Josephine Merck wonderfully sponsors in honor of her late husband, New Yorker cartoonist James Stevenson. So you knew the piece had to be short and humorous. How did you get from that prompt to what we just heard?
Fortunately, I'm a tall and humorous person, so moving from to the short version was the biggest challenge. I remember when you called and offered this commission and having the sort of the door wide open. I'm naturally a comedic writer. All of my plays have been comedies. And I was just sort of, I think first went to actually James Stevenson's New Yorker cartoons and ordered a book on Amazon called Sorry Lady, This Beach is Private. And it's a collection of his cartoons. So I read through that and was trying to find some inspiration. And I found this sort of recurring image of this middle-aged couple that keeps showing up and saying sort of snarky things about neighbors or people they come across with or dinner guests, and a sort of a recurring set of characters. At the same time, I was on the cusp of a milestone birthday that just happened. It happened after the first draft and before the second and third drafts, and was on my mind a lot. And I did actually have a very hard time planning my own birthday party, to the result that I didn't have one. So I think that internal struggle of how do you celebrate milestones? How do you celebrate evolution in life or commemorate those moments, and how difficult that can be for certain people. So I wanted to put that into this discussion amongst this couple of like, how do you commemorate these events?
Jason Eagan, director. Peter lives in San Francisco and you in New York. How did you first team up, and what is it about him and his work that attracts you?
Well, we first teamed up because I am the artistic director of Ars Nova, a nonprofit theater here in New York, and had the privilege of producing Peter's play Boom, which was a great success here in New York City and then went on to be the most produced play across the country in the following season. So that cemented our relationship.
Good to start with a hit.
Yeah, it's good to start with a hit. The day that I asked Peter if I could produce his play, I think we finished a full bottle of Maker's Mark. And
there was more than two of us.
There were more than two of us. And then we became friends, but also creative collaborators, and have had the good fortune of working on a couple other of Peter's plays. And during the pandemic, we had the chance to record one of the plays we had worked on as an audio play. And so, this felt very exciting to come back together with Peter and to get to do this.
In Peter's play, Janet interrupts Frank before he can finish a sentence by the mythology guru Joseph Campbell. It starts with, "A hero's journey begins with," and then she interrupts him. So, Peter, how would that sentence have ended? And can you tell us a little bit about Campbell and how he fits into your mind and your story?
It's a very sort of male moment for Frank to start pontificating about the hero's journey and putting himself as the hero, and sort of seeing this midlife crisis is going to be his newest call to action. And I think Janet does not want to hear any more of that. She's heard a lot of this Joseph Campbell-y expounding on Campbell and mythology and quests in her past, and can cut it off sort of immediately, I think is what's happening in that moment. So I'm actually not sure what he would have said after, but it would have been not that pleasant to listen to.
He also would have worn a tweed jacket with elbow pads.
Yes, yes.
Typecasting.
Peter, did you just pop out funny?
I probably, maybe. I'm not sure. I was late. So I don't know what the first funny thing I did, but my mom, I have a combo. I have a dad who was he was a lawyer and as well as a tuba player in a washboard tuba banjo trio that also did like vaudeville skits and loved to write plays for me as a kid. And always told lots of jokes, told me a lot about the line of comedy and how not to cross it, which of course was an invitation to leap over it with my long legs. And then my mom bring this sort of dark, she's German and born in the 40s in Germany, came here, bring that sort of that dark German comedy sensibility of like a cruel world and and that being funny. So that I think combined into sort of my sense of humor, which is sort of this weird, slightly frosty view at humanity, but like I just love to make fun of ourselves, and a battle. I guess it's also, between the two of them, it's sort of a battle between optimism and Weltschmerz and believing the world is this sort of abyssy existential place. So I think those are, you can hear those both of those in my.
So you have a lot in common with the famous New Yorker cartoonist.
Yes.
Like Jim Stevenson. Andrew and April, do you feel more comfortable with comedy or drama or all the same? How does that work for you as actors?
Yes. I mean, there's drama and comedy and drama. It's fun to do something that is on its face funny. And the line for me is just trying to keep it true and keep it honest. The more ridiculous it gets. It's great to do that looking across from Andrew Garman, freaking out, basically like having a midlife crisis baby in his chair. It's really
Which
fun to
may
watch.
or may not have happened in real life. Comedy has a rhythm to it. It really does. But the rhythm changes with each performance and each script. And this has a wonderful rhythm to it. It's very, very clear. And it was such a great time finding that with April. But I love the music of comedy. Yeah, very much so.
I think one of the things Peter does so well in his writing is give his characters that humor from all the places he was just talking about. But it's observational. It's derisive between them in the play, or can be. But for us, it's observational, and we're not really making fun of them or laughing at them as much as we're laughing with them. And one of the things we talked about when we all got here today was just how much reading the play resonated with our own personal relationships, not outing anyone's personal relationships here.
I'm 3 years younger than everyone in the room, so.
That's
but
true.
just the observational comedy of the lives we all live captured in these characters is really special. And so it just is funny, you know? It's not trying to be funny, and it's all grounded, as absurd as the world can get or the things they're saying to each other. It's all grounded in a reality that feels familiar to all of us and can be enjoyable to sit in.
I have to say, Peter writes absurdity very, very well. On the page, it's kind of molded and crafted. There's a real architecture on the page that's just built for comedy and big comedy. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it can sustain big.
Yeah.
Janet says, is it Janet? Other than the children, I loved my choices.
That's
That's
Frank.
Frank, isn't it?
Yeah, how
And
about
then-
that?
yeah.
That's my favorite line.
Yeah, I love that line. And then he later says, our poor children, I'm just glad they stopped calling.
He's so definitive about it, too. You know, there's no hesitation whatsoever. That was the worst decision we made.
Yep.
That's me angling for a second commission that's about the children.
There we go.
It's actually a fun dramaturgical challenge for myself as to how can you paint a large story with just the smallest amount of language, but like suggest something really deep and profound that's just off stage.
Yeah. Waiting to bite.
Yes.
It's that he's saying that, and also that they can so freely say that to each other gives us so much insight into the relationship we're watching and how they interact with each other.
There's a ton of satire in this play. It's all over the place. Janet says, just trying to speak your love language, Frank. Can anyone talk about love language for those of us that aren't in the loop?
Oh, is that the men are from Mars, women are from Venus?
No, like love language is like,
Oh, oops.
I think it got co-opted. I can't remember where it emerged from, but like some people's love language is gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
what
receiving
works-
gifts.
Some is time.
Or time.
Snacks.
Yeah. So that we all have this
Acts of
way
service.
that we
Yeah.
want to give love to someone. Yeah, acts of service. That's some things we do as well as what we're wanting from other people.
It's like a self-help book for relationships.
Yeah. So it's like so cynical banter. Witty, cynical banter is the love language of Janet and Frank. That this sort of way that they dialogue with each other is also a way that they kind of connect and commune and
They challenge each other to
Yeah.
move his love language.
yeah, they are challenging, they're provoking. That is it's stimulating.
That's the turn on.
Yeah.
Right.
Any ways you all deal or don't deal with aging, and in your industry particular, how does that work?
Oh, God.
Actors to you.
Just keep going out for mid-30s as long as they'll possibly let me. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not in control of that. Before the pandemic, I was going in for like Casio and Laertes, and then the pandemic goes by, and all of a sudden I'm getting the old guy roles, and like Brabantio and things like that, the fathers. But I'm not in control of that at all. It's however they see us.
Send us a script. Let's be in more control.
Yeah.
Do you think women have a harder time aging than men, or is it just men don't talk about it?
Peter, do you want to take?
Jason, do you want to talk about that?
Andrew, would you like to answer?
been.
Well, here's the thing. I still see, like, you take Hollywood movies, men in their 60s getting cast with women in their 30s, stars that we've known for years and years. And, you know, we had Me Too and everything, but that's still the casting that we're seeing. We're not, and 30s is his age-appropriate wife. You know, if they want to go younger, they go way younger. And I also see 60 seems like the new 40. And I see that in my family. My aunts and my mom are smoking hot and going on cruises. And it's not the grandmothers that I grew up with like handkerchiefs and aprons and, oh, well, I just made you a pie. It's like, I'm going to Jamaica and I'm going to get my nails done, and what happens in Jamaica stays in Jamaica. And I'm like, I can't ever get old. I was kind of looking forward to it, but I guess I'm not allowed to.
Maggie Smith, Helen Mirren, show us the way. It does happen.
Viola Davis.
There you go. But she's not old.
Angela Bassett.
One of the greats.
So, actors, to what extent did your expectations upon reading Peter's script actually match what went down today? Or Jason, or Peter, for that matter?
Did not disappoint.
Certainly didn't. And I think what I would have imagined on the script as being the size of our performances was actualized to some degree, and I didn't know we would be allowed to take the top off quite the way we did, and that was a lot of fun.
I appreciated your modesty and starting small.
So all I'll add is that, my expectations were, this is going to be a really fun day, and it was. So I'm really glad to have come out here, to be here in this room with you guys.
Yeah.
I think I'm always just impressed, not surprised, but impressed with what exceptional actors can do in a short amount of time. And we got to see that today, which was really amazing. Thank you both.
It's a real pleasure to watch you both work. It's been a total delight having you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come again.
Thanks, Claudia.
You've been listening to Playing on Air, great American short audio plays with great American artists. Theme music by Tom Cochan. Recording and sound design, John Kilgore. Playing on Air is distributed by PRX, Public Radio Exchange, and available on our podcast, Playing on Air. Or you can stream performances from our website, playingonair.org. I'm your host, Claudia Catania, the founder and artistic director of Playing on Air. Thanks for listening.